Hello, welcome to the workshop. We now have issue 64 of Eaglemoss's Build the Delorean. Now, I've had this issue for quite some time, but I had to wait till I had 63 before I can continue it. Mainly because we're working on the bonnet, and I've been missing issue 63 for quite some time. But as you can see, we're just building up the bracing on the bonnet, and then eventually we'll be putting this on the bonnet and then putting it onto the car. So take a look at the parts we've got. So we have the bracing. Now that is plastic. We have a wire with a little LED on it. We have a small catch, a light fitting. We have 2 stickers, and we have a lot of AM screws. So the first thing we're going to be doing is getting our brace, and we're getting our little tiny clip, and this has 2 holes, and we've got 2 locating pegs on here, and we're just going to be pushing that onto those locating pegs. Just like that. We'll also be grabbing our light lens. Now, it does appear there is a right and a wrong way for this. The cable comes down this little channel here, so you want the open end of the light recess or light fitting to be pointing towards this channel here. And now we've got that in place, we're going to be getting our LED, and we're going to be placing that just in that channel. This is a fairly square LED. Don't know if you can see that on camera, but we're just going to be placing that in there, and it does just sit in there. You can just push it down a little bit, and you want to guide that wire down that channel so it just sits in like that. The next steps are going to be use the little stickers to stick these in place. So ensuring the wire is in the channel, about a third of the way down. I'm just going to stick that like that. Next we're going to be training the cable around this curve. And out the bottom of the bracing. If you rub the cable a little bit, it'll get a little bit of heat into it, and it'll be easier to train that cable. As you can see, that's almost staying there now. To ensure it does stay there, we're going to use our other sticker and we're going to be placing it just here to cover a fair bit of that cable, but it's still leaving a little bit exposed, so it's just on that curve. Don't think I'm going to be able to show you putting it in place on the camera because my fingers are going to be in the way whilst trying to hold the cable in place and put the sticker in place. I do apologise. But that's it, as you can see. So the cable can run around there, and you just put the sticker between where the hinge would be and this other part of the brace. and the cable comes out of that little channel there. So what we're doing next is we're going to bring in our bonnet again. Again, I'm going to use my little bit of rubber. This is brilliant because it doesn't move around when you're trying to work on it. Now what we need to do is, you can press that, is we need to slot it in this fashion. So we want to try and get it under these posts. So you almost want to bring it forwards and then try and slide it back over the top of these little lugs on here, and it'll just drop in place. We can just push those down over the top of those lugs, ensuring it's trapping that cable, and ensure that we haven't lost our little catch, because I do know that some of those have been loose and they fall off. So we're going to be securing this in place with some AM screws, just in the corners, here and in the centre. So I'm just going to start this end, trying to ensure that they go in straight. I might just increase my tip size on the screwdriver. That's better. I have the last one just in here. And you can see the cable is still outside that little channel. Right. Next thing we want to do is bring over the top part of the car, and then we'll put this bonnet in. So, got the car over now. As you can see, my issues are a little bit out of order, because I've already got the front wing and left-hand door done. I've also got the rear right panel in place as well. Stocking issues with Eaglemoss meant that I couldn't carry on with this section until I had issue 63. So that's what's held me up. But hopefully I've got several to do now, from issue 63 up to I think issue 72, 73. So I can get the right hand door on as well soon. Right, but right now we're going to concentrate on the bonnet, and the way we're going to be doing that is we're going to be putting the bonnet in, making sure our cable doesn't get trapped. We're just going to bend those hinges down. We're going to make sure they slot underneath the front of this valance here, and we're going to just let it sit into place. And then we're going to flip the car over, and we're going to be securing it with some more AM screws. If I just adjust the camera very slightly, hopefully you'll see that we're putting the screws in to these holes here and here. So 2 on each side. I'm just going to do them loose at first, just make sure that the bonnet is fully aligned, make sure these hinges are aligned properly. flip that one back over. Now, at the minute, just adjust that again. See the bonnet doesn't quite align there. Right, so that's it for that issue. I have managed to just get this bonnet to sit down a little bit better than it was. As you can see, it's now a lot flatter. When I first put it in, there was a little bit of wiggle room still in there. The way I did that, I just loosened the 4 screws on each of the hinges. Gave the bonnet a little bit of wiggle where it was still attached with loosely with those 4 screws. Or 8 screws, I should say, because there's 4 on each side of the bonnet, and 2 each for each part of the hinge that goes onto the frame. So loosen the 4 screws on each side, so that they're still in. I gave the bonnet a bit of a wiggle, get it to sit down properly, whilst holding it in a place that I was happy with. I just retightened all those screws, and it's sat now like this. Might need to do another adjustment, maybe a little bit later down the line. Maybe when I get this wing, that might mean that I need to adjust another little bit, but we'll see later on. So next up, I'll have issue 65, which will be the inside of the, well, I suppose the bonnet or the boot, I guess. But it's the luggage compartment that I'll be doing next. Thank you for visiting the workshop today. I do hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of how the DeLorean progresses, remember to hit that subscribe button and ding that bell. I'll see you around.